In the meantime, I started creating clothes. There was this machine that I got from my that I bought. It was 800.
Okay.
Using using my monthly stipend at that time. Yemen Power.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
So I bought that machine and I started creating pieces. They were horrible, bro. Like big time. They were horrible. The cuts were weird, but at that time, people loved the clothes and they wanted me to sell them these clothes.
Okay.
And that's when I didn't notice, okay, I can actually, make money out of this.
Have you ever wondered what it takes to build a fashion brand in a country like Lesotho? The challenges, the opportunities, and all that jazz. In today's episode on My Money Adventures podcast, proudly brought to you by TKO Financial Wellness, I get to speak to a trailblazer that is really blazing the trail when it comes to fashion and obviously influencing the lifestyle in the country. So, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together and help me welcome none other than boom, boom. Of course, as is tradition on the podcast, you get to introduce yourself. My good sir, good morning. It is morning.
Morning,
and happy
TK,
Valentine's
how you doing?
Day.
Oh, wow.
Welcome to My Money Adventures podcast.
Thank you so much for hosting me, TK. I've always been wishing to be on this platform.
2 years.
It's been 2 years.
2 years.
We have been planning this for like forever.
Right.
I mean, yeah, but yeah, we finally here.
Thank you.
Right.
So for people who don't know who you are, Katiso Kima.
All right. My name is Katiso Joachim Tsoho. All the way from Kachasnek. That's where I was born and bred. And I mean, everything started in Kachasnek, and I only came here because I wanted to further my studies, and then that's how I found myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Finding yourself, what does that look like? What does it mean, finding yourself?
I think, I left my home or the village that I grew up in, thinking I was gonna be a medical student.
Okay.
Yeah, only to find later when I was here that I love fashion so much that I was so passionate in knowing all the deep ends of fashion. But I mean, I can trace back when I was still a little kid. I've always been interested in dressing differently. I've always been interested in fabrics, in the colors. I've had that, strong enthusiasm in fashion. Just that like the resources were not enough at that time. So yeah, everything just started getting, growing when I got here.
So, I'm trying to imagine. You are from the highlands of Lesotho.
Yeah.
And you are dressing or aspiring to dress differently.
Yeah.
What did that look like? And what was the inspiration around that chapter of your life?
Okay. At that time, I mean, I used to love, the 1970s, sense of fashion, big time. My grandmom used to work at she used to work in South Africa at the farms, I mean, that's where she got most of the clothes, and I guess they were inspired by a lot of Western culture, So I just loved, that sense of fashion, could be patterns and their colors. I just love those. Even as we speak, I still have, one of this at that time. But for Koti students normally wear them on a daily basis. But my grandmom used to have a lot of those.
Okay.
So I just loved them, and because I needed the prints and they were just so different. There was this other dress in a reference, they say snake ebitwang masumu. It's black and yellow.
Yeah.
So my grandma had that, that 2-piece dress, knitted dress in a black and yellow stripes, and it was so cool. It even had like a head wrap.
Oh wow!
So it was a 3-piece. Every time when she was wearing it, I was like, oh my goodness, this is fire, So yeah, so I had that interest in fashion and knowing, how these clothes were made, and how I can make how I can make them, and that's where the interest started, and most of my inspiration started back then, and it started growing as I grew as well.
Wow. So fast forward, you leave, you come to Missouri to come study. Talk
Yeah,
us through your academic journey.
yeah.
What did you study, and how did that shape who you are now?
Right. For me, my journey has been really, really interesting and different at the same time because I left at Snake, to study BSc in Health Information Management at Boot University.
Mhm.
Thinking, I mean, like I said, I never really thought I would become a fashion designer or create clothes. I just thought I was so good in mathematics and sciences. So
Mhm.
I thought I was gonna be a nurse or a doctor at some point. But when I got here, with the exposure of all the resources and visiting the malls, seeing these clothes, touching them, and getting to understand what are these people selling to people,
Mhm.
and that interest started growing for me, and I started following it. I started online classes. I started making deep researches on clothes.
So this is while
So
you're
much
studying at BSc.
at the same
Oh,
time,
wow.
yeah. So like literally, both investing in Tele Kamasiri Mall at that time.
Mm.
So literally, because that was the only place I could get free access of
to
internet.
internet.
So we get my security, but I was really, truly, really every single time studying that
Wow.
entirely, yeah.
Wow.
But didn't get past school. so
So,
yeah.
I thought the funny part is your aspirations here by a doctor.
Mhm.
Back at varsity, I was good at math,
Mhm.
and then later in high school, science became a bit of a problem.
Right,
I would
right.
blame it on the teacher,
Right,
'cause I
right,
was
right,
passing
right,
science.
right.
But I got to varsity, did a first year BCom, and then in second year, I was like, I've always wanted to be a medical student.
Wow.
And I actually wrote the medical exams. After that, I was like, I'm glad.
Yeah, you're glad you
I'm
didn't.
glad I did not become a
Atula
doctor.
Dichile.
Hey, I did chill badly. So
Right.
I believe that medicine is a calling,
Yeah,
and sometimes the
true it
calling
is.
is not meant for us,
Right, right.
So,
right.
okay, great. Now you are leaving varsity at ungodly hours, my security out there and all that jazz, to launching the business.
Yeah.
How did the business start? How did
Okay.
you decide to call it? How did you decide to name it? And how did that process start?
Okay. Like I said, my journey is so different and weird at the same time. I mean, I was still studying this course, this program at Boot University, and at the same time, I was still following my passion. So and still survive varsity. Varsity is it's something else. So I started, directing my time to creating these clothes and selling to few of my friends at varsity that time. So, and then social media started promoting this on social media, and people started seeing it. And trust me, they give you like a single room at that time, and I had the sewing machine, I had my kitchen, I had my bed, I had my wardrobe, I had everything
in that one room.
yeah. So and and people started developing this interest. Okay, let me just take you back a little bit.
Please.
So my mom owns like a small factory in South Africa, a very small factory that produces dishwash. She doesn't know anything about sewing. She owns a small factory that produces dishwasher. She hires these Malawian guys. They were the guys who were working at that factory at that time. So every time when I visited her, I would always develop an interest. Can you teach me how to sew this? Can you teach me? So
from the Malawian guys.
the Malawian guys.
Okay.
So at this time, it was we quality Christmas. So I went there, visited my mom for Christmas holidays, and when I got there, I requested these guys, let me buy fabrics and you create these pieces for me.
Okay.
I made this piece. I remember it was black and yellow, black with yellow stripes, and yellow with black stripes, and blue with white stripes. It was like a tracksuit, athleisure type collection. So I made three pieces. So I came with them to Maseru and I posted about them. They were bought within a day.
Sure.
So I still remember the customers who bought those tracksuits, and so now I saw the great potential into this. I'm like, okay, so if I can create this, and remember I knew nothing about sewing.
You were a BSc student.
So yeah, I was a BSc student. So that's one of the things that inspired the interest in studying and knowing how to make my own clothes, because at the same time I'm very sensitive on the stitching and the cuts and everything. So I always want my clothes to be, well made, and everything should be so nice. So yes, I started developing this toxic, interest on knowing how to create clothes. So yeah.
Did you know that over 40% of employed Basotho earn less than 2,500 per month and often make uninformed financial decisions? Join us and we will help you navigate the complexities of managing finances. Imagine tailored financial solutions and transformative educational programs designed to eradicate financial uncertainty. We aren't just consultants, we are dedicated partners accompanying you on your journey to financial freedom. TKO Financial Wellness, where your success is our decisive victory.
So just to jump in, for me, I would replace toxic with obsessive.
Obsession,
Because toxic
yes.
is a bit negative, obsessive.
Yeah,
passion,
yeah. I had that, great obsession on knowing how to create my own clothes. So yes, I started learning, and people started buying, and I started, networking with people. But I must say, that time, literally, I knew nobody. I was from
Sure.
just like I had no friends. I had nobody. Like I was just on my own. But I started developing relationships. I started finding people that can promote the brand. So yeah, it started growing. Then I bought another machine. Remember, this everything was within
In that one room.
one room, bro. Like one room. So I would literally, and I remember the first guy I started working with, I'm still working with now.
Oh, wow.
So that's my first employee. He's
Sure.
still there now. So I really, really respect and love that guy, because he believed in this dream more than like. It's so hard to find people to support the dream when you are at the very incipient stage.
Yeah.
It's really, really challenging. So we started creating these clothes. I moved from a one room to a double room.
Okay.
So the kitchen now was a fusion of a kitchen and the studio at the same time. Then we had the bedroom. so yeah. So I we're still working overnights. Everything. Go to school at at 7 a.m. Go to school. Lunch, I'm back at the studio. After lunch, I'm going back to another class, and I started growing them. And we had, I think it was before the end of the program, we had an internship. Oh, that's one of my traumatizing time, bro. Like, because this internship, we did it at the hospital. Remember my
You're a
program
BSc
is-
student.
Yeah. So, and I'm so sensitive to see people who are terminally ill.
Yeah.
So that's when I knew that this is not for me, because I would come home and cry, like literally. I would have emotional breakdown to see these people like literally sick.
Yeah.
And it was such an emotional moment for me. And then I made a decision right after it, like this is not where I want to be. I will definitely follow this and make clothes full time. And I finished my internship and I graduated, and I went hard on making clothes, literally out to
Wow.
this day.
Wow. There's something that you mentioned that was interesting. Yeah. You took your 800 Maludi stipend.
Right.
And I think at the time it was around 1.2. What is it? Okay,
We were earning 1.6.
1.6.
Yeah,
Oh,
we had
wow.
rent, we had groceries.
So now you take 800 rand
Mhm,
or
mhm.
800 Maludi of this stipend to buy a machine. Obviously,
Right.
you're investing in your future and whatever,
Yes.
What would you say is your relationship with money?
I mean, for me, I've always been, I come from a very, humble, like, I can say literally poor family. So I had a very emotional relationship with money, because I wanted to make sure that whatever money that I have, it has to sustain me. Because I cannot go ask my mom anything. Like literally, like I'm saying, I'll have throughout my varsity life, I've never said, "Mom, can you give me, just to finance a certain?" Never.
Wow.
Like I've always been that soldier that that fought wars like entirely. So one of the things that I had to like stand up for myself is like I wanted to be self-sufficient in terms of financials and everything. So yeah, that's I also respected the you know, reinvesting money. Like that's what I'm still doing every
Still
single
doing.
time. Every
And
single
it
money that I
shows. It
have,
actually shows.
yeah, every single money that I have to invest it in a certain product that I believe is gonna last like at least 10 years. And I know within that 10 years it can generate more money. Like every single thing that I do, that's what I do every single time.
Wow.
I've been doing that every time since
Wow.
the day I started.
And with the business growing from a one room to a two room to where it is now,
Yeah.
how has that been? How has that transition been to building the Joachim Garments brand? And I think what I love about your brand is you've documented the growth of this brand from dressing people to the all white festival, now Vodacom all white, to all these different events, working with different influencers.
Right,
How
right,
has
right.
that journey been, and what has been the highs, the lows, the challenges?
You mentioned one of my biggest highlights. Vodacom All White was one of my biggest highlights because 2 weeks straight we didn't sleep. I was sleeping at the studio. I would only take 30 minutes nap and walk, go home and take a small quick shower, like, and get back to work. So that time I was like, the transition for me has always been about working hard. Like I've worked so hard, so hard, like literally. Yo, I wish somebody can relate. If I had somebody to record every single day thing that I do every single day in my life, people would see a movie.
Sure.
because
I know what's that
it's-
song with Stana and Makazi.
Bro,
I'm
telling
my
you.
life is a movie.
I'm telling you, I work so hard every single day. Like even today, we're still working hard. Like as we speak, I'm at the factory. I'm directing these. I'm building the shop. Everything is just when I get home. I'm sketching. I'm researching. I'm reading books. You know, it's so painful that I don't wish to anybody else.
Sure.
Yeah.
But would you do it again? Would you keep doing it again? As painful as it is. And the reason I asked this is there's an article on the Harvard Review that I read about the difference between pursuing your passion and pursuing that thing that annoys you, but you keep going back to it.
Keep going back.
The one thing that keeps and for me, like in my mail, like you've wanted to be a doctor, you've studied and completed a degree at BSc, but you kept on coming back to the fashion industry. And now it's actually become your entire career, So as painful as it is, would you still do it again?
I think for me, it's like I have a great obsession with results. I see something and I have it in my mind. I want to see it, how it comes to life. That's the thing. That's for me. Like I never really rest until I get it done. Like literally, even I think my employee can attest to it because like if I have the idea and I want to execute it, I'm telling you, I never leave the place. I want to see how it comes out.
Okay.
Because I know if I leave it undone, I'm never going to get enough rest and sleep. I'm always going to be thinking about it throughout the time. Like, I still haven't finished this. So like, also for me, it's just, I love seeing things come to life. So that that thing of saying I'm obsessed with the results, I love seeing, seeing this thing come to life from my mind to a physical realm. So that's the thing that drives me every single time. I guess it's passion at the same time. Yeah.
Definitely passion. So you've again back to the growth of the brand. From Diaparo P2Y Ltd to Joachim Garments, and we're seeing you work and collaborate with different collaborators within the industry. We're seeing you work with big corporate brands as well. What are some of the challenges that you deal with from a business point of view, and also the opportunities that lie within the space?
Okay, for me also, this is just a very applicable, headline for me, like obsession with the results. I'm obsessed with product development. I always want to see a product grow every single time. I hate remaining at one stage in life. Never. That's the thing that I hate so much. That's also what drives me at the same time. So having the Abraro as the umbrella manufacturer that supplies and produce for everybody and all the corporates. Having Joachim Garments, I saw that okay, people, even corporates needs that corporate wear.
Mm-hmm.
They buy their corporate wear from South Africa. But we have people in Lesotho who needs, jobs.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we diversify from a fashion brand and also owning a powerhouse that manufactures, like literally a production house that entirely produces everything from 0 to 100, entirely made in Lesotho by Basotho.
Wow.
So that's what inspired Diaparo. Diaparo is entirely a production house that focuses on manufacturing. At later stage, we'll be producing our own shoes
Sure.
that are 100% made, sneakers that are 100% made in Lesotho by Basotho. So that's when I noticed, like, there's a great amount of money that is being taken out of the country, but there's also a great potential within the country, and also there is unemployment crisis ka hara Lesotho. So how do we contribute towards that? That's when I started developing Diaparo, but at the same time remaining true to what inspired me to start this, which is Joachim. Joachim is like entirely a fashion house, a contemporary streetwear brand. So that's where me as an artist, I want to express myself. Like, I want to, provide what's in my mind and create products.
Wow.
Yeah, so the Diaparo is just like a production house where production takes place.
And again, back to the apparel and the Joachim brand, is I love how you use your social media platforms.
Right.
As off camera, you were telling us how shy and introverted
Yeah,
you are.
big time.
But fortunately, that's not what we see on your social media platforms, right?
True.
So why is it, what about social media is important, especially as a business owner, that you can leverage to build and grow a brand?
I guess for me, it's like, it has always been like that for me. I've always used social media to communicate or sell a product. I mean, at some point in university, I said big time. At some point in university, I used to sell sneakers.
Okay.
Like, literally, I remember there
The
was
question should be, what have you not done?
Yeah. So I remember this guy. I really envied this guy from South Africa. His company was like, I think the company was what we call is liquidated or something, but it's no longer existing. It was exclusive sneakers or something like that.
Yeah.
All brand sneakers. So I reached out to this guy. I'm like, yo, I'm based in Lesotho. I see you selling sneakers. Can I be the guy who's distributing your sneakers in Lesotho? But obviously at the percentage.
Yeah.
And I reached and we agreed. Unfortunately, the business was so bad at that time. So thing is, like, also because the guy was far and,
the cost to get it into the country.
Yes, and also he never really believed on what I was trying to sell to him. And the fact that at that time I knew no suppliers and manufacturers, I could have literally developed a product in selling sneakers at that time, because nobody was selling sneakers. Nobody, literally. So that guy, I mean, I started post. Even if you can check my Facebook, I sell sneakers. I used to sell sneakers like cashier watches, all the trendy things that were happening in 2016, 17, 18. I used to sell those. Like, literally, I used to advertise every single time. So, I don't know, what was the question?
Social media.
Social media. Yes. So, for me, the only thing that I exist on social media is just to communicate product. I never really cared about, all these other things. I just feel like social media is such a great platform where the greatest exchange happens. I mean, you have access to billions of people on social media.
Absolutely.
But you are incarcerated within a very small country. So for me, I've always thought social media is like that. We live in one country, which is social media. So now I have to be able to sell and communicate my product to the entire people. Yeah.
Sure. And I think also what inspired this question is, I love how intentional you are about how you use your social media.
Right.
A lot of young people use social media for trends and for whatever not. But every time I go to either your personal page, Joachim Garments, it's clear.
Yeah, it's
one
clear.
objective.
Exactly.
We're here for one thing and one thing.
Yeah, exactly. That's like literally that has been the core theme for me. It's like, why would I want people to get access to me?
Mm.
If it's just, I mean, I have people around me, which is my family. I don't really have friends, but if I have people that I can communicate, the only communication that should happen, that I feel like it's necessary, is just exchange. How do we exchange? How do I provide a service that you might need, an item that you might need? You know, that has always been about me. And also, obviously, I'm a human being. I gotta, share a few things
Sure.
personally. But the thing that mostly inspire me to remain on social media is just sell the product.
Sell that
yeah.
product.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that you mentioned family. How important is family and balance from a
Right.
mental health point of view? Especially with the kind of work and the late hours that you push in.
Right.
Yeah.
Yo, I've always, I always imagine myself without my family, like, especially my wife, because, yo, I'm imagining how could my life be without that person, because she shares most of my frustrations. Like, literally, I go back home, I'm like, flip, today was the worst day. Today was and she's there, like, and she absorbs all these things.
Sure.
Every single, it's like, I can only imagine what it takes to be her,
Yo.
to deal with me.
No, we appreciate that, especially on Valentine's Day.
So, bro, like, I'm sorry, bro. I don't really celebrate Valentine. I celebrate love every single day for me. So
we share the same sentiments.
So for me, if I gotta appreciate her, I don't really have to have a specific day to do that. So yeah, I mean, family is so important. I also have a little boy that I feel like we also, she doesn't deserve me.
Really?
Because I'm so busy. Like, I don't really spend time with him.
Sure.
I don't really spend time with him. Like, the good thing for me, my wife, we work at the same place. So we are able to be together 24/7.
Sure.
So that also have helped me so much, that I'm so grateful to that, because I get access to her every single time. If she was working in a different place, I would literally forget about her and focus on this job, because
So she keeps pulling you back.
Yeah, it takes every single time for me. Like, every single time, I'm just always on duty.
And how is it working with your wife?
I guess
Running a business, growing a business, yeah.
I think I'm so grateful to have her, because I don't know but I feel like, have you ever have something like, this is the perfect thing that have ever happened to me? Because, I mean, she understands what I'm doing. She understands my character.
She sees you doing it.
Yes, she sees me doing it, and she's present at the same time. She's not this person of like, yo, baby, you were at the office, and probably, she's here. She's experiencing this every single time, and also she's part of it. She owns a position in the company. I guess, like, she's the one who manages the entire thing, because I'm just the
just the creator.
she's the one who's, like, running the entire project, in terms of, because, oh my God, it's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
So I as we get closer to the end of the intro, I want to save 2 questions.
Right.
In fact, I've got 3 questions left.
Mhm.
The first one is, in terms of the support that you have for both the Aparo, PTY Ltd, and the Joachim Garments.
Yeah.
How has the reception been? I know a lot of people are big fans. I'm a big fan of the brand,
Right.
the brand and what you have to offer.
Right.
But how has the support been from both at a country level and at a regional, continental level?
I think for me, it's like, Joachim is the one that is known internationally. The Aparo is an emerging corporate brand. Major support has been from all the energy and the work I've invested throughout the years on Joachim. So the Aparo, remember, it was started because we saw a
A gap.
a gap,
in the market, yeah.
So we wouldn't want, I personally didn't want, to have my clothes like, because Joachim is like a line that people can rock when they are happy, when they want to be seen, when they are going out. But at the same time, I didn't want people to to wear Joachim when they are going to work.
So it's more like a lifestyle.
Yes, it's a
Okay.
lifestyle brand.
Yeah.
So I didn't want that. So that's when the apparel started. I was like, okay, so people want a personalized uniform for their companies, but they want Joachim. So how do I move from that, but at the same time delivering the exact quality, the exact same thing, but with a different name, just to so we allow and we still remain to what inspired us at at the onset. We wanted to trust people when they are going out on vacations, when they are feeling happy, when they are going out with the family, when they are out on a dinner, when they are having a time off every single time. That's where Joachim wanted to step in for people or these companies that wanted to rock, that wanted clothes for as their staff uniform. That's when the apparel stepped in. So that's the balance of everything.
Nice. Okay. So on the 25th of February, it's about in 2 weeks.
Right.
2024, you have something
Yo,
that's
my God.
amazing happening.
Oh my
Talk
God.
us through the launch of your new store.
Right.
And what we can expect. No pressure.
Yeah. Oh my
No
God.
pressure, but yeah. Talk us through the
I don't
launch.
want expectations, but I'm just, like I said, it's Joachim. Joachim is like the personal offering, a personal expression. So it's a designer brand, obviously. It has a lot of, it has a lot to do with lifestyle. On the launch day, we want to bring magic locally, like the fashion experience.
Yeah.
Go to a fashion experience and get fashion and see people dress fashion and create memories in fashion. That's what we want. We are having a nice launch, stages, performances, DJs playing, and also the store. And the design of the store, I try to make it as modern and minimalistic as possible, so that it remains and aligns to the brand aesthetic. So that's the thing. And I haven't been sleeping since the day I started that project. Since the day I started building that shop. So it's really, really, really taking so much money, time, and energy as well.
And the beautiful thing about money, it will come back. It always
I
comes
pray to
back.
God, I pray
it
to God
definitely
it
will
does.
come back.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely, you guys really need to check out. Is it an open event? Do people come or?
It's a free event.
It's a free event.
Everybody that wants to dress differently. I mean, you look different.
Fashion
Yeah,
experience.
fashion. Yeah, it's a fashion experience.
I love
So
that.
that's what we are
it.
creating, and also it's going to be it's going to be like a sequel. It's going to be like stages. Every single time we're going to host the experience, the Joachim fashion experience every single time, maybe monthly or seasonally. Every single time we have like the new collections we'll be hosting, and at the same time we're going to have in-store live recording sessions whereby we have amazing local artists that are good musicians and vocalists that they want to record their songs and sing to the people, but at the same time happening in store.
Sure.
Whereby you walk in and you're doing a shopping, and at the same time when you're doing a shopping you find Morena Lagabo performing.
So that's an experience.
Yeah, that's
like
an
actual
experience.
I
Yes,
love
that one is gonna happen maybe on every Sunday or every last Sunday of the month.
Okay.
So it's gonna be like an ongoing thing.
So the last two, I know I said three. The last
Yeah.
two questions that I have is, number one is, what inspires the names of the different outfits? Kapo, for example, Nenze Taimane. What inspires that? And then number two, what are the plans beyond the launch for 2024 and going forward?
The inspiration to my collection, I mean, it's like everything that influenced me ever since I was a kid. And every single thing that I came across, every single collection, it's just, what have you seen? That you feel like you can reinterpret and develop into a concept. So even on the store, the new collections, the new pieces are just literally, the prints are just literally something that we have seen, but you never thought they could be on clothes. So Taimane, literally, the entire narrative of Taimane is like, I had an uncle who worked at the mines. So, that sense of fashion at the mines, it's just so cultural. Brandwood, croquette, JC Aletaisi and Butters B.
Eish.
That was the
That was the
aesthetic.
look, yeah.
If you can look at your angle or anybody who worked at the mines, look at the pictures. They have a high fababilelun to hurimayona by
Yeah.
and that has always been the aesthetic. So like with the entire knitwear collection, obviously their jerseys were knitted. I always wondered which company used to make all those jerseys. They were a hit in those ages, but 2000, but around when I was growing up, I used to see that fashion. I was like, yo, what's a hat like pile ke agile go to ke honorable, it's a hemp, it's a brand, it's a crocodile benya, it was so that style was so cool. That style was so cool. So like for me, it's just what have you seen, what have you been consuming since since you were able to pay attention to things. So just like is just beautiful decorations that tema. So one of our collections we have Basotho mural arts on it, just literally inspiration. My grandmom used to I say that on its own is just what I've seen.
Wow.
And I feel like the world needs to see it at a different perspective, from fashion canvas, So that's literally what inspires me in fashion.
And then what can we expect? I know you say you don't like expectations, but
Yeah.
what can we expect from the Apollo Joachim Garments 2024 and beyond?
Oh, okay.
And where do people find you?
Okay.
Both from a business and a personal. How do people connect with you
Sure.
and
Okay,
the business?
okay.
Yeah.
The Apollo, like I said, it's just we are trying to build a corporate brand, a textile corporate brand to be precise, because like the major the major share in textile is owned by foreigners.
Sure.
We need a voice as Basotho to say we are able to produce, we have the potential, we have the resources to produce our own clothes and export international or globally. So the apparel is just it's a link in whereby like we are globally known as a textile company, whereby we produces clothes strictly made in Lesotho by Basotho. Yes.
In Lesotho by Basotho.
And with the greatest quality, because
Yes.
normally when they think it's made locally, it has to be compromised in terms of the cards, the fabrics, and the making and tailoring. Right now we are putting a great emphasis in investing on equipment that produces the highest quality, and also training and producing the finest stitches of these clothes, because like that's where we strive to be. We need to be non-globally, meeting the global standards of garment production, garment constructions, and everything. So that's the about. But Joachim is like a fashion brand. We have Limcom Queen students who are studying fashion, but we never really know what's next for them. So I so wish we could intensify the program at fashion, so that we are able to have designers, like literal designers, who are able to craft fashion pieces, develop concepts until a finished product. That's where Joachim steps in. So we are building that for everybody. Yes.
Wow. Social media handles, where do we connect with you?
Oh my
and
God.
Also, where, if people want to come to the event on the 24th of February, which you should, how do they connect with you?
On the 25th. Oh, okay. We
25th, actually.
On the 25th.
Yeah.
Yes, we are available on social media. Joachim Garments across all social media platforms, and Diaparo across all social media platforms. Like I said, these are two different companies, and the approach is entirely different. So that's the thing.
I love how he doesn't mention his personal ones. Shy.
Yeah,
that's very strategic. Thank you so much, Katiso.
Thank
ladies
you.
and
Thank you,
gentlemen,
TK.
you have been listening to another amazing episode of My Money Adventures podcast, where we bring you personal finance, retirement content, and business and entrepreneurship content, featuring some of the biggest trailblazers in the country who are doing the most incredible work. Today, I had the opportunity of talking to Kadiso from Joachim Garments and Diapalo Pty Ltd about the business of fashion and how to really build a fashion brand, especially in a country that is developing like Lesotho. This episode is proudly sponsored by TKO Financial Wellness. In case you don't know what TKO Financial Wellness is, we will link a video that tells you what this amazing company does for you and your finances. A big shout out to my creative team behind the scenes. Behind the lens, we have Matsoso Photography. And on the audio, if you're listening on the podcast on Apple Podcast, Google, or Spotify, we have Bisa Streets. Follow them on all social media platforms. Follow Joachim Garments and Diabaro. Follow me on social media platforms. I'm not shy to shout out my
Can I
shout.
give him his flowers?
Please.
All right. Big shout out to you, TK, on financial literacy. We as creative, we need that. And big shout out on this book. This is like a big joy, like getting to know financial literacy from somebody who is within your within the space at any time, and getting information from him directly. It's such a big thing, and he's young. Come on, that's a big shout out to you, man. Keep on doing what you're doing, and we really need that.
Thank you very much.
Shout out.
I've never been given my flowers
Oh wait.
on camera. So you see me blush,
goodnmy
like,
goodness.
Omali Chamba says, when a guy blushes, 120.
Yeah.
So that kind of experience.
Right,
So thank you
right,
so much,
right.
guys. Do follow us on all social media platforms. Follow TKO Financial Wellness on all social media platforms. We do have a blog post and a learning portal. And they will link the website here, www.mymoneyadventures.com. And of course, if you're listening on Spotify, Apple, and of course on YouTube, big shout out. Remember to comment and leave a review of what you thought this episode is. Also suggest who you want to see next. As you can see, the trend is young trailblazers in the country doing amazing things. So also leave a comment on who you'd want to see on the episode. A big shout out to you guys for always subscribing and engaging with our content and sharing the content with relevant people. So until the next episode, love, peace, and money.
Chale.
Signing out. Shout.
Shout out.
Cheers, guys. Mwah.